What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're having a great day, evening, whatever. So we are a little bit halfway through the year, and I thought I would take a moment to just talk about some of my favorite games I've been playing over this past year. I'm going to start with just the top 5 because I think top 10 is kind of a little bit much, because it's kind of hard for me to think about like what would be my top 10 of games of the year so far. So I'm just going to do 5, and I'm kind of going to go in reverse order, because what you're seeing, you're going to think Hades 2 is going to be your number 5. No. Hades 2 for this year and probably next year is probably going to be my number 1. Like, this has been my most anticipated game of like the last couple years since it was announced in 2023, back in the day, back during the Game Awards, back in the day. I'm acting like this was like so long ago, but back when it was announced in 2023, I was so hyped for it, and I was so ready and willing and waiting for this game to come out, and it came out earlier this year. Been playing it almost every day since it's been out, and I'm so excited that it is out. Now, I know it's still in early access, so it hasn't really reached 1.0 yet, but the content we have out for right now is bigger than Hades 1 1.0. So there's plenty of content to go around. I'm still playing it. I still haven't completed a full run, at least down below. Yeah, I completed a full run up top, and I haven't really beaten Chronicles, but I'm still going through it, still doing what I can. I had to take a break for a little bit because I've been playing other games so far, but man, Hades 2 is so much fun, and you've seen the videos on it if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while. There is just so much going on, and they've been updating it since I put out those videos, so there's been a bunch of patches, a bunch of updates and fixes to this game, and it's so much fun to play. I love Hades 2 so much. It's been kind of one of my daily tests. It's like my dailies. Like, I'm gonna go back to Hades 2 and just boot up and to see how I've been doing, how I've been progressing with the game. So been a lot of fun. Hades 2 is amazing, and if you've been playing Hades 2, you know exactly what Hades 2 was like. And again, this is going to be my number 1 for probably the end of the year, and probably next year when it goes 1.0. I think it would take something of like a miracle. It would have to take an amazing game to come out in the next year or year and a half to say like, oh yeah, this is better than Hades 2 in my opinion. So I think Hades 2 is probably going to take top stop for me for the foreseeable future, unless something like completely blows me out of the water. So I don't know what it will be. I don't know what will be released in the next few months or so, but I think Hades 1 is going to be my number 1 so far. And sitting at number 2, a more recent addition to the channel, which is actually doing really well, so I appreciate all the views and support on it. Dungeons of Hinterberg. At the time that this video goes up, I will have completed the game because I've been doing so much in this game. I'm pretty much on my way to 100% completion, because one of the great things about this game is that there's really no time limit. Yeah, there's a day-night cycle, there's an amount of days that it goes through, but even with that, there's not a whole lot of pressure to actually complete the game. There's not a whole lot of time crunch. There's not like an amount of days that you have to complete the game. There's not even an achievement for it for completing the game within a certain amount of days, which I remember watching a video on it, and that was kind of a negative to not give it that amount of attention, but I would have to disagree. I think that there is so much fun in this game. I'm glad that you can just kind of take your time with the social and the combat elements of this game. So if you don't know what Dungeons of Hinterberg is, I break it more fully down in the video that I'll link in the description of this video. So it's essentially Zelda meets Persona, and you have your character that goes around dungeon crawling and slaying these monsters in a town that's basically commercialized and monetized dungeon crawling. So you do dungeon crawling during the day, and then you hang out with people in the evening. And something about this game just really spoke to me. It was really good. The combat feels good. There's a good amount of weight and complexity to the customization of the combat. I love the social aspects of it, and albeit simple, it's not like a Persona. It doesn't like hit that Persona complexity of the S-links of the social stats, but it still like hits that beat of I get to hang out with people, increase my stats, and those stats actually reflect in the combat and also the gear that you get later on down in the story. And I'm having a blast with it. I think at this point I put like 30 hours into it, and most of it is just making sure I max out everybody's social stats, which I have. And there's some really good gear that you get out of maxing everyone's social stats out, like as you would like in a Persona game. And so I'm having so much fun with Dungeon Hinterberg so far. And if you're playing it so far, let me know how you're let me know how you're doing it and how much you've played with it. And yeah, having a ton of time, and it's actually moved up a game that I had previously in the number 2 spot, so will probably sit in my top 5. And again, unless something really blows me out of the water later on this year, I'm pretty sure Dungeons of Hinterberg is going to be in my top 5 favorite games of the year. At number 3, I've got Biomorph, another review actually, that got a significant amount of attention on the channel. So again, thank you so much for watching and supporting this game. I haven't gotten back to this one in a while just because I've been playing other games that have come out and trying to just stay relevant and stay up to date, but I do need to come back and play this one. And I had so many fond memories from being featured on the Steam page of this particular game, which is actually still up, that's really cool that still exists and that's still up. So I think that's really cool, the fact that developer has supported me in this channel so much. So it's really has a good place on my heart. It has me in the good feel. So it's not just that. It's not just the fact that there have been just a good amount of support on this channel from the developer. It's actually a good game. It's a good Metroidvania. I had a fantastic time in this game. I love the abilities that you get, the idea that you are changing into the various enemies that you defeat to be able to solve puzzles and also use them in combat. So a lot of fun with this game. I had a blast playing this, and I'll put my review of this game in the description of this video so you get my full depth and explanation of what this game is about. Biomorph is a great game. If you haven't picked it up, if you haven't played it already, I highly encourage you to pick it up. It's got a fair amount of good reviews on the Steam page itself. So yeah, excited that people have been enjoying this game, and I'm glad people have been talking about it. And yeah, I haven't seen anybody talk about it recently, but I do think this is one of my favorite games of the year so far. And again, just like Dungeons of Hinterberg and Hades 2, it's going to take a lot for me to kind of take it off of my top 5. So these top 3, they may not change. It may be Hades 2, Dungeons of Hinterberg, and Biomorph at the end of the year when I do my full-on top 10 favorite games of the year. So it remains to be seen, but I have a good feeling that Biomorph is going to be up there with my favorite games of the year. Top 3, top 5, I don't know, but who knows? It's been one of my favorite games of the year so far. I had a ton of fun with it when I played it, and may go back to it at some point just to see what I missed, or maybe try to get a 100% completion on it. But who knows? I may do that on my own time. But again, Biomorph was a great time for me. Had a fun time with it. It sits at number 3. So SCHiM was another recent review on the channel that got a little bit of attention, specifically from shorts. And in case you haven't noticed, I've been posting more shorts just to kind of bear out the content so I can kind of stay a little bit consistent on it, just kind of rearranging things on the channel. But that, I'm not going to talk about that. That's not really related to this video. But in any case, SCHiM was a fantastic game. I was trying to think about what game between this and Paper Trail that I really enjoyed more, and I kind of had to give it to SCHiM just because I really liked the aesthetic more than I did with Paper Trail. Not to say that Paper Trail was a bad game, I just think I preferred SCHiM over Paper Trail, and I'm not pronouncing that right. I think someone in my comments of this video that I'm using for footage even said that I'm not pronouncing it right because I am not a European, because this is a European-based game. But SCHiM or SCHiM or however you say it, and please someone correct me in the comments of this video because my American brain is not really doing well with that. But the aesthetic of SCHiM really hooked me. I love the idea that you are a shadow going between different shadows and using the objects in those shadows to kind of propel your character and go from point A to point B. There's actually a really in-depth story as you play through it, and as I even talked about in my review, there's a lot of content in this game. I think I didn't mention this, there's about 65 levels in it, which is crazy to think of. That's like, I think 65 levels in total, which I was like, man, there's a lot of levels in this game. There's a lot more than I thought, a lot more content, a lot more story, a lot more involved with this game than I initially anticipated. I thought this was going to be like 2 to 3 hour experience, which I think you could play this in about 2 to 3 hours, but I think I was clocking in about 6 hours, because some of which was more like I couldn't really figure out this puzzle or I was taking my time. But I was floored how much time. I was like, man, did it really take me a long time to be able to figure out this game? And yes, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of puzzles, there's a lot of mechanics, there's a lot to do and explore, and there's a lot to see in this world. And yeah, fun game. I love SCHiM. Sits at number 4 for me, one of my favorite games of the year. This may change, I don't know. This may change. It's probably going to be in my top 10. I don't know if it's going to be at number 4, but it's at number 4 right now as at the time of this video. That may change, but I think this is probably going to sit somewhere in my top 10 favorite games of the year. Again, that remains to be seen, and there were other games I haven't played yet, but who knows. But SCHiM sits at number 4 for me right now. And finally, at number 5, we got Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles, which I am a part of the Wired Creator Collective, and so I've been playing this game on the channel and off the channel. I kind of stopped playing it on the channel, like doing the whole Wired Wednesday thing, because for one, some of these videos weren't getting a whole lot of views, and I kind of had to repivot, and I wasn't be able to be consistent with those Wednesday videos. So, but you'll probably see some more Wired videos show up in the near future or the far future or whatever, because it's still part of the Wired Creator Collective. Want to keep up with that. But Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles is a fun game, kind of like how puzzles were for me. City builders wasn't really a genre that I got into until I started playing more city builder type games like Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. And just like puzzles, I think the aesthetic and the art direction are things that will get me hooked on a particular genre, and I think that's why Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles really spoke to me, because I enjoy the aesthetic of this game, this whole water world slash falconeers, where you have people in the air and in zeppelins, like surveyors, and then you're just building cities. And even the developer states when you boot up the game every single time, it's about chaotic creativity, so you can build anywhere and everywhere you can. There's not really a whole lot of objectives. Yeah, there's factions, yeah, there's world states within this game, but essentially you can just build anywhere and everywhere. There are campaigns, or there are things that you can do, but you can just build and build and build and create resources and just kind of do anything and everything that you want to do building wise. I think one of the negatives that I had about this game is that there's a lot of people walking around like some other city builder type of games, but again, that's not like the biggest negative in the world. So I don't know. I enjoyed the heck out of the game. I'm still enjoying it. I'm playing it more off camera than on camera right now. But Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles sits at the number 5 spot for me. And again, that, like SCHiM, may change over time as I play more games and as more things come out. So who knows? I think this will probably sit maybe in somewhere in my top 10. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Like numbers 1, 2, and 3, I think those will probably stay in place, but numbers 4 and 5, that may change. And there are a lot of games that I haven't played yet, or that I'm playing right now, that I haven't finished. And so with all of these games that I've talked about so far that I've completed, or I've gotten far enough in the content to where I can make a definitive answer on it. There are some games like Anomaly Ancient and Another Crab Shepherd, which are sitting in my Steam account right now that I haven't booted up yet. So once I get to those games, they actually may go up, because I know Another Crab's Treasure was another highly anticipated game that I have, and I just haven't touched it yet because Crab Souls sounds like a lot of fun. But those are my top 5 favorite games of the year so far. I would like to know, what are your top 5 favorite games of the year so far? What have you been playing this year that you've really enjoyed? What have you been enjoying so far? What are you playing right now that you could say like, oh man, this might be one of my games of the year going to the end of it? So I think for me, Hades 2 is going to be my game of the year for this year and next year, because once it goes 1.0, it's going to get so much more content, and it's going to explode, and I'm pretty sure it's going to win a bunch of awards because it's super giant and it's Hades and everybody loves Hades. Like, what are we talking about? It's going to be a fantastic experience for everybody all around. But again, I would love to know, what are your top 5 favorite games of the year so far? Or do you have a top 10? Do you have a top 1? Do you have a top 3? I would love to know in the comments of this video. And yeah, I would love to have a discussion about just games and gaming. It doesn't have to be any games. It could be AAA. It could be anything. I know I more focus on indie games specifically for my channel, but I would love to know any games you were playing. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. And of course, while you're down there, be sure to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Got more content coming out in the future, and I really do appreciate all of the subs and all the views, all the likes, all the comments that I've been getting on my videos so far. I appreciate you so much. My name is Chike, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.